another each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a good day. Happy Friday. All right. I'm done sharing and everything. There's all my notes from today. Had a detox meeting this morning. It went well. Made some really good contacts. Detoxes and other places. So, and it's nice that we're just all kind of on the same page. This meeting was about talking about the location, how it looks, what the needs are going to be. Or you spell my name like Dionne Warwick. I see what you're doing. Worded leisure. I really don't. I don't give a fuck. But and not just the people utilizing the detox, like the clients, but the people that work there, the family members that show up, the police, first responders, what it's got to look like for everybody, what the needs are, and that's what we got through today. This afternoon, they're going to work on what the location area requirements are going to be. I did not need to be a part of that. But next, what we'll be doing is having a couple meetings on how we involve the community, what the community needs, things like that. So, yeah. Don't even a couple of my old bosses were there. It's just, people go around and like, yeah, I'm the executive director, da da da. I'm the assistant executive director, da da da. Everybody's got a title that comes to me, and I don't have a title. I was the only person there I was the only person there that has experienced detox on both sides, being a client and working there. So everybody I met was just like, "Oh yeah, you're Dionne. I've heard about you." I'm like, "That's right. You you heard of me. I'm Dionne." You just won't meet too many Dionnes in your life. So I'll be in the daily reflections today. I'm a little bit out of my rhythm. Good morning, Clara Joyce. It is good to see you. We had a pretty good meeting last night, man. Not only the meeting was good, but the group conscious, King of the Trudge. I told them I was a recovery advocate. That's what I went through. I because I am the one advocating for things and stuff. But yeah, King of the Trudge. You write a whole song about that. But yeah, group conscious went pretty good too. Nice and smooth, and things got answered, and we had, I think that's going to turn into a good group, man. A better group. It's already a good group. It's just nice to see things moving forward. I put a lot of effort into a lot of these things, including getting together $3 million. Glad I didn't have to do the paperwork on that one. Let's do some introductions. Welcome to Daily Trudge. My name is Dionne. I'm the king of the trudge. King of the trudge. Who would like to be the next king? If you're here, please say hello. Whether you're watching the live or the rewatch. I went and looked at some of my statistics at Facebook on Daily Trudge and Raw Recovery with Dionne, and yeah, this gets listened to a lot more than I thought. A lot more, like about 200 more a month than I thought. Now, whether they're watching the whole thing or not, I don't know. I'm gonna set this chair up a little differently, or that's gonna continue to happen. Gotta put it on the side there. There we go. It's missing the wheel, and I have money to get a new chair, but it's not a top priority at the moment. So we're gonna be in the 12 by 12. Looks like we're gonna be talking about tradition 1 today. Tradition 1. All right. I like it when we get to talk about the traditions because we don't cover them much, and there used to be um, heck, traditions used to be part of the regular topics and stuff. So, but I think a lot of people kind of veered away from the tradition, so they don't think to bring it up, or they don't bring it up because there are not enough people to talk on it. Um, but the traditions are just as important as the steps, and we need to understand them, or we're not going to be able to run a group conscious. We're going to blow other people's anonymity while in meetings. We're going to do, you know. So, what are the traditions? I call it one long 10th step of all the shit that they did that did not work, and they'll tell you why. Right? This is where they admitted all their mistakes, and they're like, "Don't do it this way. We have found this is what happens, and this is why." So, start with tradition 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. Excuse me. And if you want to hear my view on all 12 steps or tradition, man, on all the traditions, I think I got the hit kicking me up. Um, you can find them at the website, which has changed. The URL is different. It is now trudgingtogether.org. And it's a lot prettier. I like that page a lot better. The other one, well, it looked like somebody ate a bunch of green food and pooped on it. A little brown in there. It didn't work. It didn't work. All right. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. The unity of Alcoholics Anonymous is the most cherished quality our society has. Our lives, the lives of all to come, depend squarely upon it. We stay whole or AA dies. Without unity, the heart of AA would cease to beat. Our world arteries would no longer carry the life giving grace of God. His gift to us would be spent aimlessly back again in their caves. Alcoholics would reproach us and say, "What a great thing AA might have been." Huh. So if we take a look at this, AA has now been around for 90 years, almost a century, 90 years. If 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 AA was a religious cult, it would not be around anymore. If it wasn't working, if it was doing all those things that everybody out there says that how AA is, it would not work. I've heard things like only 2% make it. Well, if only 2% make it, we'd never be able to hold a meeting. It wouldn't work. There wouldn't be enough people, or they'd be very, very small and very limited and few. But there are thousands of AA meetings going on right now. Right now. Before I get moving a little bit, right now I'm working on looking at a couple of sober livings to bring onto the resource list, and I'm doing this through a friend that I've gotten to know. We're very alike in the mind of what needs to be done, and these people are also tired of the bullshit. Well, I was looking into the person I was supposed to, and I'm like seeing the same name, seeing the same thing. I'm like, man, what is going on here? Is Dion seeing something different, wrong, or whatever? So I spoke to my friend, and no, they have the same views that I do, and I think that I need to be a little bit more pliable when it comes to vetting people, and maybe not being such a hard ass, right? Yeah, it does only take two people to have a meeting, but you wouldn't even get to two people if only 2% made it. It just it wouldn't work. But yes, like even right now, we're having a meeting. Meeting doesn't have to open with any prayers or anything like that. We don't have to do the seventh tradition. Uh-uh. We're gonna start doing the seventh tradition now. That's kind of cool. Does this mean someone anxiously asks that in AA the individual doesn't count much for much? Is he to be dominated by his group and swallowed up in it? Nah. Mm-mm. No, when I'm doing things like when we're working on the halfway house for homeless alcoholics, um, you kind of got to hear all sides, man, before you can make a good decision on something. Here's a good one. Um, the There's one guy is kind of setting things up to where here's the thing. What I brought up was this, not at this meeting, but it was brought up. I didn't say anything on it yet, but somebody had brought up, hey, the detox. Are we make the detox? We can't. There's contention that if the detox is too nice, that people will return, and we don't want people returning. It's detox. Maybe return as an employee or alumni. Yeah, that'd be great. This guy's pretty much saying, "Oh, we gotta make it lush and all these," and we're gonna have a long talk because he's coming from a very sacred heart kind of mind, but he doesn't have the mind of an alcoholic or somebody that has been homeless. And there's no way I'm gonna let detox be posh. No. Or homeless people will use it as a home, and we won't be able to help the people that we need to help. So, it's things like that, having a discussion, and maybe I'm wrong. I might be wrong. I'm not. But I might be, but I'm not. See, he hasn't experienced both sides. He hasn't experienced working in a detox, nor has he experienced being a client in a detox. So, whereas I can appreciate what he's saying, no, we got to these people need to be treated with respect. That's the number one thing. But if you think there's going to be oh, we need to have a meditation room. These people are freaking, they're coming off of alcohol and drugs. There is no meditation happening. Nope, there isn't. No. Maybe a quiet room where if you want to go read and just kind of be by yourself, but there's not going to be any meditation room. These people can barely even brush their teeth, let alone sit there for 10 minutes, meditating. Anyway, so is he going to be dominated by his group and swallowed up? We may certainly answer this question with a loud no. We believe there isn't a fellowship on earth which lavishes more devoted care upon its individual members. Surely there is none which more jealously guards the individual's right to think, talk, and act as he wishes. No AA can compel another to do anything. Nobody can be punished or expelled. Our 12 steps to recovery are suggestions. The 12 traditions which guarantees AA unity contain not a single don't. They repeatedly say we ought, but never you must. Right? Sup, do that. Do that. I'm even wearing my nice shoes. You see my nice shoes? Here's my nice shoes. Look at that. Look at them shiny ass shoes. Oh. So it doesn't say don't do this in the 12, because remember earlier I was saying that the 12 traditions tend to be one long 10 step, but they say don't, it doesn't say don't do this. It just says we ought to look at it this way or we ought to try that. And why is that? Because even a group of alcoholics don't like being told what to do. The defiance is so great that they will go the opposite way just because of the defiance. right? Whenever, and it still kind of happens to me, but I do put a little more thought to it. When people tended to give me an ultimatum, and I had to give them an answer now, then I am going to pick whatever answer inconveniences you the most, even if it's not the one that I want. That is defiance. If you're going to put me on the spot, then fuck you. I'm just going to make your life hard because you made my life hard. It just can't live my life that way anymore. All right. To many minds, all this liberty for the individual spells sheer anarchy. Every newcomer, every friend who looks at AA for the first time is greatly puzzled. They see liberty verging on license, yet they recognize at once that AA has an irresistible strength of purpose and action. How, they ask, can such a crowd of anarchists function at all? How can they possibly place their common welfare first? What in heaven's name holds them together? So, the last part of that preamble. What is our primary purpose? To stay sober and help other alcoholics to achieve sobriety. That is our landing spot. That is the spot on which we can all get together and agree on. That's it right there. Right. Now, what's neat is we have what's called a democratic evening up process, and that means that we vote. Right? Do you need to be? Do you need? Let's say you go to a group conscience, but it's not your home group. Do you still get to vote? Yes, you do. You are a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've actually had people told me that I couldn't attend the group conscious because it was not my home group. And I'm like, that's bullshit. You can't do that. You can't. What if there's a voting on something from the GSR, and I wanted to be in that vote? Well, I still get to vote. Yes, I do. Okay. We had people that last night that voted that it isn't their home group. But do we need their opinions? Do we need their explanations? Do we need their experience? Absolutely, we do. If we're going to get down to brass tacks and do what we need to do, then everybody needs to have a chance to speak their mind before that voting happens. All right. So the thing is there's one ultimate authority when it comes to the group conscious, and that is a loving God. And what's the first thing that we do? Well, we say the Serenity Prayer, we ask for directions, we read the 12 traditions. How does that tradition end? That we place principles before personalities. Okay. There's nothing worse than a group conscious where it's just full of fucking anger and personal anguish. Okay. And I'm not saying I haven't been to one in that state myself, because I have. So, those who look closely soon have the key to this strange paradox. It's funny, you'll see a lot of paradoxes in AA, but it's only a paradox in the fact that I am an alcoholic and I always have the cart before the horse. That's why it's always a paradox. Otherwise, that's just life. But no one's in control. Nobody's ruling. Nobody has power over other people. Mm-mm. It's not, well, you have to do this. Now you might have a sponsor and they're like, your turn to make the coffee, your turn to chair. Right, CJ, yesterday you got, what did you call it? You got, I forget what you called it, but it was funny. She's like, anybody chairing? Well, you say that in that group, you're chairing. Right? And it's all in good fun. You're not required to. But yeah, we might apply a little bit of pressure on you because we know that if you do that, something good will come out of it. That something good will come out of it, right? I like it when we have different people chairing because, yeah, you were volunteered. That's what it was. No, you were voluntold. That's what you said. You were voluntold the chair. All right. So those who look closely soon have the key to the strange paradox. Yeah, yeah. Oh, you were just playing ass to chair. Okay, I misunderstood it. But you know what? My story was funnier. So, but it but it's not the truth. So, all right. The AA member has to conform to the principles of recovery. His life actually depends upon his obedience to spiritual principles. All right. Now, this might be redundant for other people, but now that I found out that I have a ton of rewatchers, as Dion falls over on his face, one day I'm just going to completely fall over. Um, so, what are the principles? There is a principle behind each step. Step one is honesty. I'm just going to read them because you already know it. I'm sure you can count in your head. So honesty, hope, faith, courage, integrity, willingness, humility, brotherly love, justice, my favorite one, perseverance, spiritual awareness, and service. Those are the principles from which we had to conform, right? So the theme of tradition one is sacrifice. And what are you mostly going to sacrifice? Well, your time. It's mostly what you're going to sacrifice. Sacrifice your time and money when you put that dollar bill in there. Okay. If he deviates too far, the penalty is sure as swift. He seconds and dies. At first, he goes along because he must. But later, he discovers a way of life he really wants to live. And there it is again. You know, in the beginning, we didn't want to go to those meetings, but now we tend to look forward to them. I mean, even Leisure said, I enjoy these meetings. Last night there were 2 or 3 people. They're like, I already love this meeting. You know, and there's very good reasons for it. It is because you're fucking well, and I try and make people feel like overly welcome. Okay. If you're an introvert, I might make you feel a little uncomfortable, but you're gonna know that you are welcome there. Yeah. Got it, man. Everybody belongs there. This is the way I see it. This is the way I see it during that for that meeting right now. And we hit another record, 15 people. 15 people, man. Woo! But um and it's structured. It's very structured. We don't ask it about the 29-day one. The way I see it is if you're going to do somebody here their first, second, third meeting and then ask the 29 days, you should probably pick one. But the thing is I was a chronic relapser. So for months, bop it up, bop it up, bop it up, because I didn't feel like I was really getting anywhere. But when you hit that third meeting, and what is it? Sets of three. Sets of three, do it, man. Okay, first, second, or three. This is my third meeting. Good job. And now we have hope within 2, 3 days instead of 30, where you think that you don't have to raise your hand and see. Another thing that we ask is who here needs a sponsor? And since we changed that, people feel like, oh, well, I need a sponsor. There was one there last night. Got a couple phone numbers. They were still drunk though. They had to leave because they weren't feeling very well. They weren't drunk in the sense that they were drunk, but they still had alcohol in them. If you guys know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. All right. So he really wants to live this way of life now because it feels good to give to other people, man. It feels good to come to a common solution, even when you're wrong. Because then you'd be like, hey, I thought of it that way, but I really like what they said. There's one person that comes to my mind. She doesn't pop in here, so I bring up her name, but she does come to the Saturday night meeting, and you guys may know her from the 3 p.m. meeting. She's done if you'll know her by the. She always has the best suggestions when it comes to group consciousness, man. She is so great about taking the whole scope of people coming in and thinking of them all. And it's something I absolutely love about her. Right. Moreover, he finds he cannot keep this priceless gift unless he gives it away. Give it a, you know what? That's the great thing. Give it all away, all the time, all the time. You know, I did it while I was in the mean that it's not a secret. They know that I'm trying to build, because when we did introductions, and I told them I've been building relationships with the right people like yourselves, because our 12 step groups out here are dying and we need the professionals. We need them. So I'm trying to reestablish that relationship so that you trust sending people to AA again. And all these heads were going, I'm like, yes, thank you, God. Thank you, God. Thank you, God. Finally. Took me 4 years to be able to finally speak my piece on that. But is because I know the more I give this away, the more gifts will come my way. That's just what happens. Neither he nor anybody else can survive unless he carries the AA message. Oh, you know what else they're talking about in the meme that they included? Right? Because it's about the location and what the location needs to look like. And one of the empathy things that we put on there was family members. I'm like, yes, thank you. So the detox isn't just gonna, okay, you bring in your loved one, drop them off, and we'll call you when we're done with them. Nope. You drop them off. Hey, are you the spouse? You're the children. Why don't you come over here? And we're gonna have a set of people that are going to talk to them also. Right? Is that fucking cool? So I love Adams County. That's the thought process they're having. And they're absolutely right. This is a family disease. Okay. And it's not just the alcoholic that has a spiritual sickness or has some underlying mental issues going on. It's quite often I say, why is it that it's only the alcoholic that gets a 28-day vacation? Because that's what the fuck it is. Okay. Treatment is just a vacation for you to relax and get okay. I'm not saying it doesn't work. It can work. Absolutely. Okay. And it's probably best to keep the alcoholic separated from everybody for 30 days. I agree with that. I do. But life still goes on, man. And now we're just going to put it all on the wife. Well, let's give a little more support than that. I also brought up that Alateen is being mandated, and a bunch of people were pissed, and they put Alateen back on the table. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I may fucking cry. Alateen is our best prevention program. Without Alateen, there is no prevention. These are the kids that went through all the fucking bullshit with their parents, that care, that have servants' hearts. These are the people that save your children. It isn't me. I'm too old now. Okay? They don't want to listen to me. I don't talk the same way that they do, even if I've been through what they've been through. That might help a little bit. But when it's peer age appropriate, oh man, Alateen is an ass fucking kicker, man. And you know how much money it requires? None. Because it's altruistic. It's beautiful, man. There were so many ramifications today that were all good, right? Neither he nor anybody else can survive unless he carries the AA message. The moment this 12-step work forms a group, another discovery is made that most individuals cannot recover unless there is a group. I can't. I have got to talk to a group of like-minded people almost every day, or this brain does weird shit. It starts making decisions on its own. It'll go this way, it'll go that way. I'm probably going to hurry up a little bit here because the noon meeting's in 6 minutes, and they don't start till like 3-4 after. But realization dawns that he's but a small part of a great whole, and it's wonderful to feel that way. By the way, that no personal sacrifice is too great for the preservation of the fellowship. He learns that the clamor of desires, ambitions within him must be silenced whenever these could damage the group. It becomes plain that the group must survive or the individual will not. That's just fact. It is fact. I've seen it. Okay. Now, my relapse, when I relapsed, I had 12 years. Okay. What was the first thing that I did? I skipped a meeting. That was it. And then I was on my way. Yeah. I just stopped going to meetings. Well, I didn't take long before my anger came back. I was dry for about 3 years. I stopped going about 9 years. Okay. About the amount of time I have now of 9 years in April. So, at the outset, how best to live and work together as group became the prime question. In the world about us, we saw personalities destroying whole peoples. The struggle for wealth, power, prestige was tearing humanity apart as never before. Well, here in AA, there is no wealth, power, or prestige. It just isn't there. The most prestigious job you're going to get is GSR, and it ain't going to feel very prestigious. It's going to feel like a pain in the ass. Hey, um, creating service work for people. It's one of the things that we're doing in the grassroots. So, host is one, co-host, chair, greeter, verification. See, I've already named off 5 different for every meeting. That is 5 different service positions. Okay, how about the person that sends out chips, that sends out free big books? See, in order, even just an online meeting needs about 6, 7 people doing it. Does. Okay. Um, what I'd like to do if that meeting gets bigger is once the meeting is over and people want to do parking lot meetings, you'll be able to choose breakout rooms. Hey, we were still talking about this if you want to do that. Hey, I'm making this little breakout room if you guys want to join me. And then you can have these little separate parking lot meetings that are a little bit more individualized. It becomes plain that the group must survive or the individual not. I already said that. The struggle for, I already did that, if strong people were stalemated in the search for peace and harmony, what was to become of our erratic band of alcoholics? As we had once struggled and prayed for individual recovery, just so earnestly did we commence to quest for the principles through which AA itself might survive. On anvils of experience, the structure of our society was hammered out. Anvils of experience. And experience is fact, as long as they're not lying about it. Experience is fact. Okay? Yeah. In fact, experience is the most factual thing in the world. I've found anyway. That's opinion. Countless times in as many cities and hamlets, we reenacted the story of Eddie Rickenbacker and his courageous company when their plane crashed in the Pacific. Like us, they had suddenly found themselves saved from death, but still floating upon a perilous sea. How well they saw that their common welfare must come first. Common welfare came first. None might be selfish of water or bread. Each needed to consider the others, and in abiding faith, they knew they must find their real strength. And this they did find, in measure to transcend all the defects of their frail craft, every test of uncertainty, pain, fear, and despair, and even the death of one. Thus, it has been with us in AA. By faith and by works, we have been able to build upon the lessons of an incredible experience. They live today in the 12 traditions of Alcoholics Anonymous, which, God willing, shall sustain us in unity for so long as He may need us. And since alcoholism has not been cured, I think He still needs us. All right. Our traditions are key elements to the ego deflation process necessary to achieve and maintain sobriety in Alcoholics Anonymous. I absolutely agree. I also run Trudging Together based on the traditions. They're based on the traditions. That's why you don't, yeah, they just are. The first tradition reminds me not to take credit or authority for my recovery. Placing our common welfare first reminds me not to become a healer in this program. I'm still one of the patients. Self-effacing elders build the ward. Without it, I doubt I would be alive. Without the group, few alcoholics would recover. And that's why I start groups. It's the best way to create the fellowship that you crave. And we're getting the grassroots. I'm going to tell you now, grassroots is going to take off. It will. There's a lot of people saying, wow, this is just different. It's just different. And I know because we've gone to an old format and it'll feel different. It will. We're there to talk about solution. And we always do. We always talk about the solution. Now, that doesn't mean that we will not help somebody, but the amount of dumping just, it isn't there. All right. All right. So the active role in renewed surrender of will enables me to step aside from the need to dominate, the desire for recognition, both of which we played great part in my active alcoholism. Deferring my personal desires for the greater good of the group growth contributes toward AA unity that is central to all recovery. It helps me to remember that the whole is greater than the sum of all of its parts. Right? So when a group grows together and they do things together and they grow like an individual does, they can actually heal whole communities. They can. I've seen it happen and we're doing it again right now. Absolutely. But the group needs to grow. If a group in and of itself doesn't continue growing, and I don't mean like the amount of people, I mean spiritually and understanding how we help more people, then that will eventually turn into, it'll get stagnant and they usually tend to fade away. Right. And I still see a lot of it where I go to these meetings and it's the same person chairing, the same people doing the same thing. I go my current home group right now. There's one guy and he just has to do the seventh tradition each time. It's like, why is that his job? What about other people that are doing service work? There's just, this isn't about power, and don't brag. Just don't brag. Yeah. So great day today. I have another meeting at 2:00 with some like-minded people. I'm really looking forward to that meeting. Because it'll be the first peer support people and sober living that I bring on and vet. And that has been a process. Let me tell you a little bit about All the Way Well. That's what they're called, All the Way Well. All right. In order to be a peer support specialist there, okay, you need to have at least 3 years of sobriety. I think they said 3. It was either 2 or 3, but I think it was 3. And you need 500 hours of education first. I'm like, that's perfect. But they treat their employees, bar none, they treat them very, very well. Right? That's the other thing. See, I don't just talk to go look at this, you talk to the employees. How you like it here? It's a job. No, this place sucks, huh? Okay. Oh, you know what? I love working here. You should see what they, last week they did this, my car broke down and they get, and the owner gave me $500 so I could get it fixed. These are the things that I listen for. If the employees are being taken care of, that's a big key for me. Humility, big one. All right, we'll see some of you at the noon meeting. We'll see some of you at a different live, and the rest of you better be getting your asses to that Saturday meeting at 5 so I can see you. All right. I love you. I do. Peace out. And